Welcome back, dear listeners. Couldn't get enough of Connect More? Well, it's your lucky day. And mine, since I've got a couple questions to ask these cats. In this Connect More Shorty, we'll connect some more? Whatever. Let's see what more these puds can possibly have to say.
Hey, yo, welcome to a Connect More Shorty. I'm Eric. There's John.
How you doing?
That's Brian.
Greetings.
And there's Jason.
Hello, everyone.
In these bonus episodes, we take a question from our producer about anything, and this is basically the first time we've heard this question, so there's no prep. Madam Producer, what's your inquiry?
Tell me your craziest travel story. I want to hear the worst mishap, the longest day, or the biggest thing lost in translation.
So I've had some crazy travel stories just because military, you travel a lot, and I've had to carry certain things with me, and which get held up at customs. But I'm not even going to go through that. I'm going to go through my first business trip and my first job out of college. That's what I'm going to go with. So
Yeah, you're all nervous and stuff, and you
yes,
right?
I look like
okay.
I look like Doogie fucking Howser. Okay. I'm wearing a suit.
We'll post photos on our social media, by the way, folks.
Confirm.
I'm wearing a suit. I'm wearing a suit, and I have to go to a place called Mars Hill, North Carolina, which is north of Asheville, near the border. Okay.
And you look like you're someone who's like going for his first, like his confirmation or something.
Exactly. Exactly.
Folks, we're not. Nobody here is kidding. Not even Brian himself. Brian looks super young back in the day.
Unaccompanied minors.
Yeah.
All day long.
So it started out. I show up at the Asheville airport, and I try to get a rental car. Well, I'm 23 years old. I can't rent a car because I'm too young, right?
Well, what's like the age limit? 25?
It's like 24, 25.
Okay.
And this was like spring of the year I was turned 24. So I was like 6 months away, something like that. So I end up calling the office back in Cedar Falls and saying, hey, we need to make an alternate arrangement here. And they found me a company that would actually rent to me. But it was kind of like Enterprise, but they didn't have Enterprise out there. But I had to find some way to get to that place. And, but the nice part was, and it was a company I never even heard of. I still have never heard of it. But the nice part is they asked me, hey, would you like a Mustang? Would you like a T-Bird? Or would you like a Toyota Camry? And I was like, what color's the Mustang?
Camry.
So I go.
You're like,
what
is this
color's the
candid
Mustang?
camera? Is this like, am I on Punked?
Yeah.
What?
I go, what color's the Mustang? And I go, it's red. I'm on that. Okay. But this story isn't done yet. So I show up at a plant in Mars Hill, North Carolina, which is in the sticks. Okay. Population maybe 500 there. But there's a huge plant there which hires everybody around there, right? And I show up at the plant, and the guy looks at me and goes, you can't tell me Doogie fucking Howser is going to sit here and do an audit here. And he was like, I'm not going to cooperate with you.
Amazing.
Yeah. And so I was like, you sure you want to do that? You absolutely sure you want to do that, sir? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I'll be back here in about 10 minutes. So I end up calling the office. They end up calling the vice president of Honeywell, the vice president of benefits for Honeywell. And he said, get the boy whatever the hell he wants and give him a nice office and stop being an asshole. And I walk back in. He goes, you have carte blanche, do whatever I want. I apologize. And I said, good, thank you. And the rest of my trip was just fine. I had some really unique experiences with that. But first trip, right out of the hole, it was just like, wow.
So much for Southern hospitality.
Yeah. Well, after that, it was great. Right?
Now you guys are pen pals for life, right?
No, not so much.
Did you drop the "I served my country" on him?
No, I did not.
Oh, yeah.
Dang.
I did not. I treated him like a prisoner at first, and then I was like, "You sure you want to do that?" You know, I give him a chance. I give him an out, right?
Yep.
And then I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna drop the hammer on you, buddy." So
nice.
So that's my trip.
Nice trip, John.
Yep.
What's a spooky one you had?
Yeah, both of them are with my kid, and so I have one child, and he's autistic, and so all of it sort of centers around that. It is difficult to travel, especially air travel, but I have done it. I don't do it every year. So two quick ones. One, we went to Disneyland in LA, and so a week in LA in 2004. Came back, so I'm exhausted from chasing this autistic kid around, and we leave a Pikachu plushie on the plane in Cedar Rapids. And I am out at 5:30 in the morning asking permission to go on the plane post 9/11 to search for this Pikachu plushie. And they let me on. And I
Wow.
looked all around and couldn't find it. The plane had not left. It had stayed overnight in Cedar Rapids. And I could not find it. As far as I know, somebody else picked it up, or maybe somebody was trying to preserve it and put it into a lost and found that I was never able to locate. But so I had to do, and there is a Google ad on about this right now, about losing a stuffy on a plane and having a kid completely melt down about it. I had to do the thing where we ordered another one and said that it had just been, elsewhere for a while, taken a couple of plane rides and come back. And we got away with it, but it was a very close call about being, because this plushie was the most important thing. There was a blanket
Sure.
and a plushie that were the items, that were the key items for safety at the time. And
Now
then
we're
the
all
other,
going to be seeing that ad now, by the way.
yeah,
talked
no,
about
go
it,
look
so
at it. They
thank
create
you
this.
for
It's
that.
actually really heartwarming. They
Oh,
create
sure.
this story about this stuffed bear going around the world using photographs,
Oh,
that
I've
are
seen that
generated
one.
by
Yeah, yeah.
Gemini or
Yeah.
whatever. And I actually, that's very impactful for me because I live that. And then the other one, quick, is we did like a video gaming convention in Seattle in 2018, and we were coming back the afternoon of Memorial Day, and he needed to be back at college classes the next day. And so, when you deal with someone with autism, it's very black and white. Like, he has to be at that 9:30 class that next day. There is nothing that can derail that. And we had a plane with mechanical problems, and it was not able to take off from Seattle. And so they canceled the flight and they put us all up overnight. And he didn't want to do that. And so there was no talking him down or persuading him that it was okay to just take the hotel room and fly out the next day and miss a day of class. Now, of course, that there's a lot of irony in that, because if you had told me at 19 that I could miss a day of college because the flight didn't take off, I would have gotten 3 days out of that. So with 25 minutes to spare before they closed the big metal door, I got us on an Alaska Airlines direct to Chicago, rented a car at O'Hare in the middle of the night, and drove back to Iowa City and got
Wow.
him there for his classes the next day.
Nice. Good dad job there.
I don't know if it is or isn't. That's it. Yeah, that's not the purpose of telling the story at all. But it was, there have been some white knuckle moments trying to meet the expectations. And
Absolutely.
I think any parent of a kid with autism has those kinds of moments. And the question becomes like, then, so do you attempt those kinds of trips? He has a name for them. He calls them dad ventures. And I say yes. I say you keep doing them.
Absolutely. And I know we have a lot of listeners that certainly understand those sorts of trips. I had one in, I had just become a county auditor, and they stuck me on a plane with two other county auditors from Eastern Iowa to go to the Florida Election Professionals Annual Conference to get some input on some things. And we were coming, of course, this was in January. And so we're coming back from Orlando, Tampa, and then Orlando, and flying into Chicago, and it's January, and of course there's a snowstorm. We're doing the circles, whatever, and we finally land, and basically our flight back into Moline was canceled. And so, but they said it wasn't so bad in Cedar Rapids, so we could get a flight into Cedar Rapids that only had 2 seats ready, but by the time it was ready to take off, they wound up having 3 seats so we could all go together. Well, this kicked off what I thought was actually kind of an amusing planes, trains, and automobiles. What happened? So we land in Cedar Rapids, and the auditor from Jones County, her husband came over and picked us up in Cedar Rapids and drove us as far as Stanwood, because then they were in Jones County. And so the auditor from Jackson County, her husband came over from Maquoketa to pick us up in Stanwood. And then he drove me as far as DeWitt. And then that's where Tanya picked me up.
That is
took me to the East Coast.
That is wild. What was the total duration of that experience from takeoff?
Yeah, goodness. That, I never thought about that, but that had to be bordering on, it was in the 6 to 8 hour range, I'm sure. Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. Jason, travels.
Well, the one that came immediately to mind was when I was actually headed back to Niger after your wedding.
So you were feeling good?
Feeling
refreshed,
good. It was a long couple weeks, but I
refreshed
made it.
hungover.
Man, so much bad shit went down at that wedding, huh?
Oh, boy. Sorry, John. Didn't mean to pick that scab. Anyway, I think I had to go to Paris first. Then I flew from Paris to Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire. And then I was going to go to Niamey, where I was going to then eventually make it back to my village. So I got to Abidjan, and I had never really learned how to speak French very well when I was in the Peace Corps. I wasn't really very good. And everybody in Cote d'Ivoire speaks French. So I went to check in for my plane to Niamey, Niger, and they said something really fast, and they're like, no plane, like pas d'avion or whatever. And I was like, what? Why? And they kept talking. I was like, I don't understand. Like, slow down. And I finally got them to understand. They were saying, pirate, pirate. There are pirates in pirates. There were terrorists on the tarmac in Niamey, so there were no planes going to Niamey. So I was like, so here I am trapped in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire. But luckily they had Peace Corps there, so they had a very, very nice Peace Corps hostel in Abidjan. And Abidjan is actually kind of a nice city. Like, they've got streetlights and tarmac and stores and things. Like, Niger was very much a developing country without any of those kinds of amenities. So there I was, quote unquote, trapped in this glorious, like, modern African city. So I spent like a week or something at the Peace Corps hostel in Abidjan, kind of living it up. It was glorious. I mean, it was awesome before I could actually finally fly back to Niamey. So that's probably the longest delay I ever had. I've had zillion delays in all my travels, but that was the most memorable because it was with pirates.
It took him a whole week to get the pirates off the runway?
It was something like that, yeah.
Pirates of the runway. Like, I don't need to make fun of it. Did they harm anybody? Did anything bad come out of that situation?
I don't think so. This was kind of before 9/11. This was before a lot of the escalation of terrorism and stuff in that part. Like, right now, Niger is a very dangerous place, and these kinds of things we would not be laughing about there now. But at the time, it was like, oh, pirates, really? What are they going, what are they holding hostage? There's nothing there.
Yeah.
Like, So
Jason's
anyway.
looking out the window looking for the 3-pointed hats and the
Right,
swords.
right.
And,
Yeah. The pirates. Pirates. There are pirates on the runway. What? Pirates.
And now we have a title for this episode.
I think Jason wins the travel story.
Giving it to Jason.
Congratulations.
Ding, ding.
Hey, connectors, if you got a better one than Jason, share it with everybody. Maybe they have a better one, they can outdo you. And if you do have a really good one, please share it with us. We'd like to hear about it. You can put it on our Facebook page, or you can drop us a voice memo to connectmorepod@gmail.com. That's cnxmorepod@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you. Go make a connection, folks.
Thank you for listening to Connect More. I'm the producer. Please subscribe and like this podcast because it's my only chance of getting paid for this gig. Connect More is a product of Pantiger LLC and is hosted by Brian Danielson, Eric Van Lanker, Jason Nisus, and John Hedgecoff. Connect More is edited by me and Jocko. The showrunners are Jax, Hedge, and Weenus. Theme music written and recorded by Ryan Veeder. Cover art designed by Leon Golden. Musical director is Evil. Legal liaison is Brian. Lead writers are John and Eric. Runner-up writers are Jason and Captain Danielson. Publication coordinator is Jax. Special thanks to GVC, Aaron, Miss Roper, and Yoko. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure to follow Connect More on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.